This video will show you how to find the function list, which is basically a list of commands and syntax that you can use when you're doing calculations or graphing or geometry. So let's first go look at the list so you can just see it. And then I'm going to show you kind of the three places where it will auto-fill in for you with the templates and the syntax. But if you're looking for something specific, you want to go to the function list first. So when you're in Classpad and you're in your paper, up across the top right-hand side, you have several options here. Here's your saving, here's your undo, here's your duplication. But the question mark is where you're going to go to find the function list. So when we click question mark, you'll see there's a user guide, and that goes through each of the different stickies. But we're interested in the function list, and it's going to open a second tab. And you'll see that it has a kind of drop-down menu here over to the left. And so if you're looking for something very specific, like how do I enter a logarithmic function, you can go over to this, and if you click it, it goes right to that over here, and it shows you all the shortcuts and the syntax that is needed and describes each one of these. So that is a really important feature, is that it gives you the description of them. Same thing here. If I go, let's go to complex. What's complex mean? So here are the different things, syntax, functions, commands, basically, that I can do in my calculations and in my lists, and in my function, in my graphing, in my geometry. So the function list is pretty easy to get to, and then you can just find what you're looking for. You know, if you're looking for how do I do vectors, how do I do an augmented vector, how do I fill it in, how do I find the dimensions of a vector, all of this is right there. So that's where you find the list. Let's go back into the program itself. So if I want to just look for something specific, I can go to the question mark, go to the function list and find it. But I can also get functions through the actual starting to type something. So let's pull up the calculate. That's one of the most common places where you're going to want to use a function list or a function command. So here's my calculate thing, and let's first define a list. So let's define a list as we'll call it practice, and I'm using the colon equal that defines something, and then let's just make a list. So a list requires our curly brackets, so let's do a really simple list. So I've just defined the list, but now let's say I want to do some things with that list. I want to find the mean, I want to find the median, or maybe I want to sort it. So all I have to do, if I already know what I sort of want to do, is start typing it. So if I wanted to find the mean, once I hit M, you'll notice I get a drop-down function list. And that's the program basically saying, oh, you started with an M, so here's the functions that you could do with an M. And so you'll see that it says mean list, mean list. So basically, I just typed the word mean. So I could either click on this, and notice where the blue is, that's where I'm going to replace. I could find the mean of two lists at a time. And I need to put the name of my list in here, and it's going to be practice. And it's now going to find the mean for me. And I could do the same with median, right? So I can do median, replace list with practice, and it's going to find that for me. And there is the median as well. If I wanted to sort my list, I just type in an S. And so again, notice, let's put our keyboard, here's all the functions that possibly start with an S that I might be interested in. And so I can just use my drop-down list if I don't want to go to the question mark. So let's do sort. And notice it's sort A, sort descending, sort ascending. It's already ascending. Let's switch the list to descending. So very easy to get to the function list. Either go to the question mark or just start typing something, you'll get a drop down. And you will get that same drop down if you're in graph. So if you're in graph and you start typing in lists, you could do y equals, and if I type in list again, the angle of a list, limit, it'll bring that up for me, and I can put in the properties that I want. So the drop down is very easy to get to as well, but you can also go to this. And finally, let's go into geometry, because that's the other place that you can do lists. Functions. And so this is the dynamic geometry, and if you click this polygon tool, its drop-down menu, you'll see here is an expression, and I could do the same thing. I could do y equals, and let's I don't even know what this is, but we're going to do it, and let's put practice in here, because remember, everything's connected, and that's the change in the list of practice. So the delta, it looks like. So again, drop down menus as you are doing things is one way to get to the function list. And then the way to get to all the functions at once, if you're looking for something very specific or you want to understand what the syntax is, you're going to go into the question mark, into the function list, and it's going to let you search, and it's going to explain it more. So the function list that's in this section has a lot more explanation about what each command is actually doing.